used to love Oprah, like most of us who grew up when we did. And only now did I realize I've been getting spoon-fed propaganda from this woman for years. I always took her little setup packages as gospel. You know, before I was a reporter, I never even thought to question whether Oprah might be intentionally misleading me. Then last night, the dawn came and I was like, oh my God, she is not a reporter. She's a propagandist. She's trying to shove messaging down my throat of whatever she believes, not what's real. So you remember she did that like kind of factual interview after the quote documentary of Michael Jackson?
Yes.
That was so disappointing.
What if I told you? In the most surprising confrontation since daytime TV and cable news rage, Oprah was recently tag-teamed by Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly. One moment, she was the queen of empathy, and the next, she avoided sarcasm as if it were dominating skepticism. Megyn brought the receipts, Gutfeld brought the sarcasm, and Oprah brought awkward quiet. What did they say that made you get roasted? Stay put, because this tea is more interesting than Oprah's book club drama.
Words, Oprah's list of favorite things. So Oprah released her annual list of favorite things, and as usual, there are lots of expensive stuff. $1,000 pizza oven, $590 drip coffee maker, $80 of luxury salt. Sadly, no proposal from Stedman. Kat, do you think she went over this first to make sure it wasn't too extravagant?
You're missing the best one.
What?
Okay, it is a little journal, and it's called I'm Dead, Now What? Important information on my belongings, business affairs, and wishes. Hand this to someone at Christmas, I dare you.
Imagine a billion-dollar queen sitting atop her empire like a kind monarch with good intentions, lavished in cashmere, and giving out cars like Oprah's favorite items. However, in place of a halo, there is a glare that says, "You should be grateful. I'm even acknowledging you." That would be Oprah, the irresistible force of daytime TV who became a billionaire media tycoon whose name alone has the power to propel careers, best-selling books, and, it seems, your self-esteem into the sky.
Oprah is actually suggesting that I think you're like, listen, what do you say? Like, this made me think of you. You're probably not going to be alive much longer. Merry Christmas. Oprah, if she did go over this, she is a sick.
Yeah.
She did not raise any of those accusers' serious compromising facts when she had them right there. Maybe they're telling the truth, maybe they're not. But as a journalist, you have to at least ask. You know, you've got multiple lawsuits against his estate, sir. Might that be an incentive to lie? Didn't ask. You've got these accusations against him. You had a book that you were supposed to produce about Michael Jackson in the context of litigation where you were required to turn this stuff over, and you lied saying that you didn't have it. And you only got found out because Random House and these other publishers admitted you shopped it to them and turned over the metadata to Michael Jackson's.
With the subtlety of a wrecking ball in a crystal shop, Greg Gutfeld quickly tore into that empire and got under her perfectly coiffed scalp. Own everything, as Oprah once said, not metaphorically. She wants the entire damn media universe on. A silver platter including television networks, magazines, streaming platforms, and everything else. Gutfeld pointed out the frightening reality that when Oprah talks about owning everything, it's more about creating a media monopoly that makes even the largest billionaires uneasy and makes them view her as the amiable local media shark patiently, waiting for the right opportunity to devour entire industries for breakfast. Basically, if it involves eyes, she's got her fingers in that pie.
Biggest issues that are pulling us apart at a time when I believe we all need to be coming together.
You still have your whiteness. That's what the term white privilege is. It means that whiteness still gives you an advantage no matter what.
This lady became very rich off some very poor white people who watched her every single day in the middle of the day.
It's not a conversation. It's a condescending.
Never one to be outdone, Megyn Kelly hammered home the point that Oprah is the ultimate cultural manipulator, telling you what to read, what to believe, and even how to feel. All in that comforting, kind voice that makes being dissident seem like a sin. Although Megyn didn't say it directly, it was implied that Oprah's empowerment is more like a velvet glove concealing an iron fist. Rather than just watching Oprah, you submit to her carefully curated worldview, which is meant to keep you motivated, compliant, and prepared to purchase anything that bears her seal of approval. It's similar to a cult, but with better lighting and more costly presents.
So you got salt, you got cheese, you got pizza.
Greg, I'm going to stop you there.
Yes.
I treat this like the list I get from my kids. They send me emails because they know when I laugh in their face, it hurts. Anyone who wants a $1,000 pizza oven, you're going to get what Kat picked out. Like, that's the greatest gift you can give somebody because you can't return it. Because returning it, you think you're immortal? You think you're better than us? Like, get your affairs in order. That's the great, you stole the show. They wanted me to talk about a dog towel. Towel's a towel. Great job. That's the best gift ever. And Oprah has never read this, just like I don't read the list for my kids.
And the inconsistencies. Oh, they are stacked up like unread books in an Oprah-approved library. On the one hand, she is the queen of positivity, encouraging millions to follow their dreams and love themselves. On the other hand, she is a billionaire who travels the world in private planes, sipping rare teas, while millions of people struggle to pay their rent. Gutfeld skewered this like a porcupine on a spit, preaching gratitude from a golden tower while the rest of us live in the basement. The ultimate lesson is to be grateful for what you have, even if it is just a small portion of Oprah's leftovers.
Anytime she laughed last night, because you're so right about her team, like controlling this cackling, was when she talked about the idea that she might shoot a home invader with her handgun.
We have
and
that.
She laughed.
We have that one. Watch.
When you said you have guns, no, at the debate.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If
And I thought
somebody
that was
breaks in
powerful.
my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
My staff will deal with that later.
She's not funny. Like the pretend laughing is so, like Oprah's pretending to laugh. And by the way, can I just say, I'll let you finish your point on the gun, but the Oprah affect is done.
The wellness kingdom comes next. The location where Oprah's brand transforms detox teas into the divine elixir and kale smoothies into a way of life, Oprah's embrace of wellness fads, according to Gutfeld, is like seeing a shark try ballet. It's perplexing, frightening, and awkward. Megyn added that the wellness empire is more about branding than it is about health. Oprah's wellness advice is as subtly presented as self-care by a used car salesman, but it is actually simply another product with her name on it. Sip this juice. Get your soul healed by reading this book, which also includes corporate sponsorship. Politics is a whole different circus, honey. Oprah's presidential aspirations have been a wild ride filled with evasive declarations and calculated silence. Gutfeld compared it to a reality TV program that is all intrigue and no payoff. Lacking. She run or will she be the political version of the show? Oprah's political strategy, as Megyn noted, is to remain just progressive enough to keep liberals in awe, but not so radical that her billionaire friends become agitated. With a campaign team that also serves as a public relations firm, she is essentially playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers.
This list, and you know what wasn't on there? Anything about Maui, right? At one point in time, she and The Rock made that video to try to help out everybody who was hurt by the fire. And then that was just quickly discarded. She's like, okay, that didn't work. Who wants slippers? You want slippers. You get a pair of slippers. You're all getting slippers.
Additionally, remember the uncomfortable spiritual moments that occasionally occur. As if she were the head of a New Age cult, Oprah attempts to go deeply into discussions like spirit guides and universal energy. Oprah's authenticity is another, juicy target. She's built a brand on being genuinely vulnerable and approachable, except when she's not. Gutfeld joked that Oprah's spiritual advice sounds less like enlightenment and more like a confused game show where the rules keep changing. Megyn saw it as a billionaire's midlife crisis, costly, perplexing, and slightly embarrassing for the rest of us. According to Gutfeld, Oprah's genuineness can occasionally appear dubiously staged, like a reality show where each grin and cry is perfectly timed. Megyn concurred, saying that what appears to be a heart-to-heart is frequently a meticulously staged act meant to keep audiences interested and their wallets open while money talks, and Oprah's bank account shouts as the first black female billionaire. Her riches are legendary. Gutfeld made a joke about her wealth likely requiring its own zip code, but she was still giving back speeches. Megyn brought up the irony that Oprah's charity also functions as PR, enhancing the brand while maintaining the status quo of power structures. This is the Oprah way of doing things. Give a little, get a lot.
So it used to work for her to go out there and say, like, the Oprah Winfrey Show, Tom Cruise, right? And you'd be like, Tom Cruise, because television was different.
Oh, 100%.
It was just different. You could take that kind of behavior in your living room and it wasn't quite as jarring. I had such a different experience of her last night. The yelling, her quintessential Oprah thing. I was like, what is she doing? This feels affected, forced, and it's making me uncomfortable. We pulled together just a few examples.
Thanks for joining us for this very special event, Unite for America!
The cultural gatekeeper. Definitely, Oprah chooses the books, the films, the health fads. Megyn pointed out the danger of that kind of influence. It can crush dissension and create a monoculture where only Oprah's voice gets amplified. But Gutfeld also noted that Oprah's gatekeeping creates a bubble, a carefully sanitized echo chamber of ideas that all revolve around Oprah-approved thinking. Despite all the roasting, Oprah remains a paradox, a media mogul who purports to be a spiritual mentor with a corporate empire and a millionaire who advocates self-help. The complex truth behind the idea that the queen of daytime TV is human after all, with all the paradoxes, imperfections, and deliberate ambition that come with that domain, was revealed by Gutfeld and Megyn, who did more than just mock her. As Oprah states, live your best life and you deserve the best. Gutfeld and Kelly had a field day revealing the snug little world she has constructed, where the appearance of empowerment conceals a carefully maintained brand. Beneath those cliches, however, lies a business strategy that profits from marketing, aspiration rather than real structural change. She advocates self-help as if it were a gospel, but don't expect her to mobilize the populace against the systems that sustain inequity. Instead, she prefers to encapsulate inspiration in a pricey hardcover and refer to it as a revolution.
Right, which appears to be what Oprah's doing for Maui. It seems like she and The Rock just did that one video, and really, the people of Maui, they got screwed.
I anticipate a letter to the show saying, The Rock donated $20 trillion to the fund, and then you're going to have to apologize.
Oh, I will say I'm sorry immediately. It's like this thing in Maui happened, and then
still talking about Maui.
I am, because everyone just quickly moved on.
No, that's a good point, too. That is a good point. It is a story that kind of just faded.
So basically what you're hoping is at least you would have left them a pizza oven.
Yeah.
Right?
What about the actual media empire? Launching her own network was not just about content, it was also about controlling the pipeline from creation to distribution. Oprah's transformation from daytime TV queen to serious media mogul wasn't an unplanned viral moment. Rather, it was a calculated, deliberate push for relevance and control. Gutfeld compared it to Oprah, erecting a stronghold in the middle of a swamp full of rival media alligators and bringing the flamethrower. This is the kind of vertical integration that would cause even the most vicious corporate sharks to nod in reluctant homage. Megyn Kelly's criticism focused on the content itself, which was carefully chosen, polished, and planned to steer clear of any controversy that might annoy sponsors or Oprah's influential friends. This isn't journalism. Rather, it's brand management masquerading as inspiration. When Oprah discusses the truth, she means the edited version that supports her story. It's more about creating a cozy glow that encourages people to pay attention and spend money than it is about bringing uncomfortable realities to light.
Of herself.
So true.
It's so disgusting. And then to watch the likes of Julia Roberts up there on her Zoom. Oh, Madam Vice President. Oh, and by the way, hi, Oprah. And Oprah's like, hi, Oprah. Don't I get more? And she's like, well, we just saw each other. You know, this whole idea that it's this clubby elite group of celebrities who are deigning to speak with the great unwashed about the future of this.
Not to mention the elite circle of influencers and A-listers that Oprah surrounds herself with, whose careers she can start or ruin with a single nod. Being on the right side of the Queen entitles one to invitations to exclusive events, book, deals, and the kind of media exposure that most people can only imagine. Gutfeld mockingly dubbed it the Oprah Protection Program. It's a small, cozy club where real criticism is uncommon because nobody wants to bite the hand that feeds their career. Megyn added that this cozy arrangement perpetuates a sycophantic media culture where ambition is measured by proximity to Oprah rather than actual merit. Another obvious instance of branding above substance is the wellness sector, which Oprah has embraced with the zeal of a child in a candy store. Fees for detox, costly spiritual courses, and retreats. Oprah's brand promises change in this multi-billion-dollar arena, yet it frequently offers the same stale platitudes repackaged for affluent consumers. Gutfeld made a joke about how Oprah's wellness advice seems to have been prepared by someone who has never had to work hard for a living, much less deal with fundamental medical issues. Megyn quickly followed, pointing out the hypocrisy of a millionaire promoting wellness as a way of life while millions of others deal with institutional neglect, medical debt, and food deserts.
Running for president?
Yeah.
I never considered the question even a possibility. I just thought, oh.
Right, because it's clear that you don't need government experience to be elected president of the United States, right?
I thought, oh, gee, I don't have the experience. I don't know enough. I don't know. And now I'm thinking, oh.
She's joking, of course, but there are worse ideas. See that rebuttal to Trump? Out of ideas, the Democrats rebooted Mayberry RFD. But Oprah's an icon who, unlike traditional politicians, could match a wild card like Donald Trump. And if she won, she could give everyone a free car.
Ambitions for politics. Things get quite juicy there. The political equivalent of an extended, highly anticipated, and ultimately unresolved soap opera cliffhanger has been Oprah's experimentation with presidential runs. Gutfeld claimed that Oprah's brand benefits from ambiguity, and that her political strategies are more about upholding her reputation as a kind, unifying person than they are about enacting laws. The ultimate balancing act of power, perception, and profit, Megyn emphasized how Oprah's political stance is a masterclass in ambiguity. Progressive enough to keep the left swooning, but vague enough to keep her billionaire friends comfortable. There's also the spiritual side, the universe energy, the soul-searching, and the crystal-clear aura of enlightenment that Oprah broadcasts from her multi-million-dollar mansion. Gutfeld joked that Oprah's spiritual journey appears to be more of a publicity stunt clad in yoga pants and fragrant candles than a search for purpose. Megyn concurred, pointing out that although spirituality is personal, Oprah's brand is expensive and has a very public platform that occasionally feels more theatrical than genuine. Let's talk authenticity, which is the foundation of Oprah's brand and the gentle side that anyone brave enough to peek at knows she's mastered the art of vulnerability. Well-scripted vulnerability that is good. Feld compared it to reality TV, in which each episode is scheduled for maximum emotional effect and each reveal is thoughtfully planned to increase audience participation. Megyn added that Oprah is the perfect brand ambassador for herself and that authenticity is a commodity that is sold and resold like the newest must-have item.
Do you want to be right or do you want peace? Yeah, that was another huge lesson for me. Do you want to be right or do you want to have peace? And I didn't realize in all those years when I know I'm right. I know I'm right. I am right. I even had a T-shirt that says, I know I'm right. That's an egoic move.
Her charitable endeavors, millions have been contributed to disaster relief and education scholarships, which appears impressive on paper, but Gutfeld pointed out the fine print. Oprah's charitable contributions are frequently used as a tactic to improve her reputation and power rather than to challenge the structures that lead to wealth disparity. Megyn went on to say that although philanthropy is admirable, it shouldn't be used as a stand-in for significant structural change because Oprah's business depends on upholding the status system, which maintains billionaires like her at the top, and there is also the cultural effect. From launching careers to influencing national dialogue, Oprah is undoubtedly the most potent cultural tastemaker of the past 3 decades. However, Gutfeld pointed out the peril of such concentrated power. When one individual controls so much cultural production, diversity of opinion hurts. Megyn noted that although Oprah's enormous empire can occasionally act as an echo chamber where only specific voices are heard, restricting the marketplace for ideas and innovation, her charm is irresistible. She is a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of success and a ray of hope for many. The billionaire who established a kingdom on empathy, empowerment, and personal transformation is also a shrewd businesswoman navigating the delicate dance of power, profit, and perception. Therefore, the next time you see Oprah handing out cars or promoting a new book, keep in mind that behind that brilliant smile is a mastermind of media and marketing, orchestrating an empire that's as much about control as it is about inspiration and influence. Gutfeld and Megyn weren't downplaying her influence. They were merely exposing the machinery behind the magic, the calculated moves, the contradictions, and the polished veneer that conceals the hard reality of creating and sustaining an empire. Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld.